welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and on today's program we'll be catching up with Rick Doan from Interfaith Social Services here in Quincy. First, though, we check out the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, still kind of breezy out there, but we've got some breaks of sunshine. Temperatures are already starting to fall. 46 degrees right now. They'll continue to drop into the mid-30s this afternoon. Still kind of breezy, but the rain is about done, and tonight really chills down to about 20 degrees. We're right back into reality tomorrow with February snow showers around. Highs tomorrow only into the mid to upper 30s. Some sunshine, chilly on Sunday. Then for President's Day on Monday, one day warm up again, back up into the low to mid 50s with sun and clouds. Again, 46 degrees in Quincy right now. In the news today, Quincy City Council wants to know why they were never informed about the computer hack that resulted in the theft of $3.5 million from the Quincy Pension Fund. Those funds were stolen a year ago through an email phishing scam. However, the hack was only made public earlier this month. A mayoral spokesman, Chris Walker, says the retirement board has decided not to comment while a criminal investigation is underway.
I'm not the authority on this. I'm not the governing body of this. The mayor's not the governing body on this. I think that this communication to the body probably would come, has to come directly from the retirement board. But I think that they were playing a level of caution, and I'm not here to agree or disagree with it, that this issue is still quite fluid. With the potential to recoup this money, with the potential of litigation going forward, with the potential of multiple investigations, that the board felt through its lawyer that any communication would not be entirely appropriate. And again, I'm having trouble. I'm in a little bit of a weird position here. I can't speak for the board. What I can do is say that my knowledge of the discussions with me directly have been relative to this have been that, look, we have to not talk about this right now. We can certainly, if the body wishes or the council wishes, I'm sure that the retirement board would be happy to enter into an executive session. But there was a concern relative to disclosure of this while these investigations were ongoing. I know it's not the best answer, but it's the best answer I can give council.
Councilors also wanted to know why the theft wasn't disclosed when they voted to bond the city's $475 million in pension obligations. Officials say the theft was disclosed to investors after urging from the state. However, they say it would not have impacted the sale of those bonds. The MBTA is beginning construction on a new $300 million bus maintenance facility at the former Lowe's Home Improvement Store on Bergen Parkway in Quincy. During a groundbreaking ceremony earlier this week, Senator Elizabeth Warren said the funds from the federal bipartisan infrastructure law will be tapped for the new facility, which will lead to reliable transportation and a cleaner environment.
With this historic investment, we'll improve stations and facilities like this one. We'll build new ones, and we will upgrade signals throughout the system. But the top of our transportation priority list must also include electric buses and rail. They are the best way to improve reliability, to reduce maintenance costs, and to clean our environment. And this federal money is not coming a moment too soon. Nearly a quarter of the buses and other public transit vehicles in our state are beyond their useful lives. We need to replace our diesel transit and school buses as soon as possible.
The new garage will house and maintain 120 battery electric buses that will provide increased bus service to Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan, in addition to sections of Quincy. The new garage will replace the over 100-year-old garage on Hancock Street, which Mayor Thomas Koch says he's still interested in using as an indoor sports complex. The first 40 students in the new Early College High School program, in partnership with both high schools and Quincy College, have completed the first year of that new program. During a recent ceremony at the Marriott Hotel here in Quincy, College President Rick DeCristofaro surprised the seniors with full tuition scholarships.
Because this city, our city, and this city college values its students and its families and esteemed educational ideals. And because we all have such confidence in each and every one of you, our Board of Governors and college leadership team have decided to award you all full tuition scholarships for your first pathway year at Quincy College, up to 24 credits from an associate's degree. And it's simple, because we believe in you. Congratulations to you all. Take care. Thank you.
The Early College High School program is designed for Quincy and North Quincy High School juniors and seniors who may not be considering college. It can provide college-level courses for about 150 students while they're still in high school. Educators say the program targets students who are first generation from low-income families or English language learners or have disabilities. The funding is provided by a large grant from the State Street Foundation. An expansion project at the Pine Hill Cemetery in West Quincy would add more than 6,000 double grave sites and also allow Quincy residents to buy pre-need plots for the first time in decades. Mayor Thomas Koch is asking the City Council to approve $16.4 million to turn 7 acres into those new cemetery plots.
So my guess is we'll be under construction this summer. And it's not a complicated project. It's land work and earth moving, and then the decision has been made by the cemetery department that we're going to install the boxes. So in other words, when you go to open up a grave, the concrete vaults will already be in the grave.
Oh.
So they lift the lids, put the casket down, and then close the lid, rather than digging the whole grave up. It makes it far more efficient for the operation and far less messy over time when you're digging up all the grass and trying to get the grass to grow back and it settles and so forth. So it's a different approach from what we're used to doing, but I think it's the right way to go.
The mayor says the expansion comes after a 20-year process with the state where 15 acres will be set aside for special habitat for an endangered species of snake. The project will also include 680 new graves for veterans, a special section for cremated remains, a new structure for services to be held in all types of weather, and a welcome center at the Willard Street entrance to the cemetery. The mayor says it could be the last municipal cemetery space available in Quincy. A female Brewster Ambulance EMT was hospitalized after a man that she was treating in the back of that ambulance in Quincy attacked her yesterday. Police say 33-year-old Kevin Mortimer from Dorchester was being taken to Kearney Hospital after overdosing at the Gavin House Treatment Center on Old Colony Avenue in Quincy. Mortimer's charged with attempted murder. Police say he assaulted that EMT, smashed her head against the gurney, and ripped out some of her hair in the ambulance. A police officer that was following the ambulance restrained Mortimer. The EMT was taken to the hospital for treatment. Well, there are 2 new therapists on staff at Interfaith Social Services New Directions Counseling Center here in Quincy. Donna Williams and Diane Kraus joined the team of mental health and addiction recovery professionals recently. Williams specializes in individual, relationship, and family issues and addiction and recovery issues. And Kraus has 30 years of experience in social work and hospice and bereavement counseling. Now, the New Directions Counseling Center has been providing care to people on the South Shore since Interfaith's founding in 1947. Each spring, a Stop the Stigma 5K road race is held in Squandam to raise funds for that center. This year's race is set for April 30th. Coming up next, we'll chat with Rick Doan of Interfaith Social Services about Stop the Stigma and about interfaith services. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Nice to be talking about things that will be happening in springtime, like the Stop the Stigma 5K for Interfaith Social Services of Quincy. Executive Director Rick Doan has stopped on by to tell us about that and other interfaith stuff.
That's the job.
How are you, Rick?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to be back. Good to have some warm weather coming around the corner.
Yes, we're looking forward to that for sure. Speaking of warm, how's your new heating system going?
It is good. You know, it was so. For those who don't know, our heating system in December went down, and we sort of limped along with space heaters and other things. And then we were going to have a really cold day. It was that like day when it dipped below zero or whatever. And we said we weren't going to open the food pantry.
Right.
And we just put a message out on social media letting clients know. And it got picked up by radio stations and TV.
Oh, yeah.
And it was amazing. It was amazing.
Anybody else's furnace dies and nobody knows about it, but yours dies. And
Well, but it was really thoughtful donations too.
Really?
People reaching out. There was this one from this lady. She said, I work at a local supermarket. I don't have a lot of money, but I really wanted to help you guys. And she sent along a donation.
Wow.
There was another, my sister works for Meals on Wheels. And she went in and was delivering some meals. And this couple was there, said, did you hear about this food pantry that lost their heat? Do you think they could use a donation? And my sister said, I think so.
I just might happen to know somebody there.
Yeah, it was really neat.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of contractors reached out too, right, to help you.
Contractors, electricians.
Yeah.
It was just, it's amazing.
It's
I
nice,
love,
yeah.
it's one of the best parts, seeing charitable acts, seeing how people want to help out,
Right.
and they don't just say it, they act and they do it.
I know you were concerned about
yeah.
the cost. You know, you'd have to dip into your
Well,
resources.
it was quite a bit, but it brought in over $10,000 in donations.
Oh, that's great.
So we're really, really excited about it.
So you're good to go?
We are. We got
Okay.
heat in the building. We've had heat.
You better check the air conditioning too while you're at it.
We did.
Okay.
We did. Yeah.
The bigger story of that was, of course, it was a time when the food pantry was needed the most, right?
Yeah.
During
Yeah.
number one, the pandemic. Number two, the below normal temperatures.
Yeah, and we're glad. I mean, because it'll be below zero, and we still have clients who walk up to the food pantry.
Yeah.
It'll be a pouring rain day, and it doesn't mean that people who walk it's going to keep them away. They still come out, and we're there, and it would be the worst if somebody walks all the way to the food pantry on a day like that.
And you're closed.
And we're closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have volunteers in the building either.
No,
of
it wasn't
course.
safe.
Yeah.
It was just too cold to have the volunteers in the building because of the temperatures outside,
Right.
and that they couldn't come in and warm up after being outside at the clients' cars.
So how are you doing? Things in the pandemic seem to be getting better. Are you seeing that reflected in the need at Interfaith?
The need is still great.
Okay.
The food pantry numbers are still very high, but our counseling center are record-setting numbers.
I am
Every
sure.
month,
Yeah.
we're serving more and more and more clients, which is great. It means people are reaching out for help. But the term that's being used by the CDC, by the Department of Public Health, is a crisis, a mental health crisis, that the pandemic has sort of exacerbated. It's augmented problems people already have. It's caused issues that they thought that they could kind of manage to be bigger. And they're reaching out for help, and we're glad we're able to be there and help them.
Is it younger people? I've heard a lot of stories about kids.
Across the board.
Is it? Okay.
Across the board. We have lots of young people who are reaching out, for sure. Well, a lot of times it's parents who reach out on behalf of.
Of course, yeah.
But also seniors.
Oh.
You have people who maybe they've lost all of their loved ones, and their only support network was their friend group. And that friend group for the past couple of years haven't felt safe getting together for a meal, haven't felt safe going out. And so there are more seniors who have felt very isolated and add the anxiety of the pandemic to that as well.
Yep.
So we see that group reaching out as well.
Interesting. I just reported on your two newest counselors
Yeah.
at New Directions.
Diane and Donna, they're
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, so they're already working. They're
Oh yeah,
on staff.
definitely.
Okay.
And Donna is somebody who works with a lot of children, so
Okay.
we're glad that she was able to come in and start working with some of the children that we serve.
Yeah. Are you in person, Rick, for counseling?
We are.
You are.
There are some therapists that still don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And there's still a number of clients that still don't feel
Sure.
comfortable. But we are offering in-person sessions.
Okay. Or not, right? So
Or
either
through telemedicine, Zoom, phone calls. Yep. That's always going to be part of it.
I was just going to ask if that's going to continue.
Yep, it always will.
Okay.
And thank goodness, because one of the big changes right at the beginning, Blue Cross Blue Shield, they were leading the way with telemedicine.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic hit and they said, we are going to reimburse for telemedicine sessions where it didn't used to be something that was commonly covered.
Okay.
I don't think it'll ever go away. It's part of healthcare.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Do you need more counselors?
Well, we're always looking for,
Okay.
if people are interested, please reach out. We'd love to talk with them if they're interested in working with us and to see if they're the right fit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. The whole reason for Stop the Stigma is to fund the New Directions Counseling Center, right?
That's right. For a long time, it was just a walkathon.
Yeah.
It was we did a walkathon every spring. We'd been doing it since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about 5 years ago that we said we saw the growing problem of mental illness and addiction. We saw our volunteers who were losing children and loved ones and were struggling. And we saw community efforts to raise awareness, and we said we need to do something. And the Stop the Stigma 5K, we want it to raise funding. But really, it's an opportunity to be here with you today to talk about mental illness and addiction.
Right.
And to tell people there's nothing wrong with saying this is part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a character flaw, it's an illness like any other. And so we're grateful we have that platform every year to show by walking and running in the 5K and showing our loved ones and community members we support them, we stand with them, and they shouldn't feel ashamed or embarrassed about talking about a mental illness.
Has it worked, do you think?
We hope it has.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep doing it. Mm-hmm. We're going to keep ringing that bell. We're going to keep running and walking and talking about it. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time, and we're in it for the long haul.
We have a few photos from past walks we wanted to,
good.
show folks.
Great.
Just to give them a sense of what it might look like that day. But this year it's April 30th, is that right?
April 30th, Saturday.
Okay.
We always do it around, it's pretty much the same route around Squantum. Beautiful, views of the skyline. And it starts and ends at the Kennedy Center, the Senior Center. Mm-hmm. And in the past, we had a lot of indoor activities. We had face painting and other things like that. We want to keep it focused on the mission.
Okay.
So we're still going to have some food and we're going to have some raffles and things like that, but really scaling it back a little bit so that we can keep it focused on the mission and why we're doing it, and not about a big party.
Okay.
We love parties. We all love parties.
Sure.
And they're fun.
Yeah.
But it's keeping it focused on the mission.
Okay. About how many folks usually attend?
We don't know.
Okay.
What this is the first back in person.
I was just going to ask if you had it last year.
So we've been doing it every year.
Yeah.
And it's all been virtual.
Okay.
So we said during this week, register. We're going to send you a T-shirt, and everybody will do a 5K in their neighborhood, and then submit their times.
Okay. All right.
And the last 2 years have been our most successful
Isn't that
5Ks
amazing?
ever.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've kept that component there.
Oh.
If people feel comfortable coming together, gathering for a 5K with hundreds of other people on April 3rd, we're going to be there.
Come on out. Okay.
Not everybody is at that
April
point.
30th, right?
April 30th.
Okay.
April 30th. Thank you. Not everybody's there.
Right.
And there's some people out of state that want to participate.
Sure.
That aren't necessarily coming to Squantum.
Obviously, yeah.
And so they can participate as well. So
Okay.
right now we have a couple hundred people already registered for it, and we expect 400 or 500 people. We're hoping.
Okay.
Yeah.
About how much does the event raise?
It is. I mean, it raises about $70,000.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Which is a huge fundraiser. It supports our therapists
Yep.
because the majority of our clients that we see don't have insurance,
Sure.
or they have inadequate insurance. They might have a deductible that's so high they can't afford to pay it. And so we have a sliding fee scale based on income. But one of the things we launched last year that has become part of our program is when people come to us, their first 4 sessions, there's no cost. Or if they have insurance, there's no copay.
Okay.
We didn't want anybody to have a financial barrier to treatment. So when somebody calls us up, we say, thank you for calling. Let's get you in touch with a therapist. We get them into treatment. And that's what we want people. That's the experience we want people to have.
Yeah.
And we can talk later about ongoing and sliding fee scale
Yeah.
and all those kinds of things.
So kind of a triage really
Yeah.
to treat them immediately.
And some people don't pursue it. Some people only do 4 sessions.
Yep.
And that's fine.
And that's enough for them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's what it is, if that's what they need, we're glad we were there when they reached out.
How many counselors do you have on staff?
We have 11.
Okay.
11 therapists. Some are only seeing a couple clients.
Yeah.
Some are seeing a lot of clients. And the pandemic has allowed us. We had some therapists that had moved out of the area and doing telemedicine. We were able to say, come on back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. And any idea about how many folks you treat? I mean,
We provide each year about this. Last year was 3,200 counseling sessions. That's what we provided, and so it's been growing. And I'll give a comparison. Last January, we provided about 220 counseling sessions.
Okay.
This January, we provided over 300 counseling sessions.
Wow. Okay.
So that just shows that the increase that we've seen.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is really how Interfaith was founded in 1947, right?
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea was supporting families and children.
Right.
And one of the first programs that grew out of that was the counseling center. And all of our other programs grew out of that. The food pantry, the homelessness prevention program. It was all things that we saw in the counseling center that people were experiencing, and we wanted to help them out.
Right. The winter is not over by a long stretch.
No.
Are you seeing the increased costs of food and energy impacting your clients?
Well, we're seeing that.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is the food supply issues have definitely affected us.
Is that right?
Also, we're going to miss Roach Brothers a lot.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
Roach Brothers is one of our half of our food comes from food rescue. And Roach Brothers was one of our biggest food rescue partners. So we're really going to miss them in the community.
Yep.
And over the years, we've lost, places like it used to be Hannaford and then Big Y. They were another big food rescue site. So we hope that the supermarket coming in will be on board.
Yep.
But we're looking for other food rescue partners
Okay.
to help make sure food gets on the plates of hungry people instead of entering the waste stream.
Well, I know even the Greater Boston Food Bank was in a bit of a crisis for time. How is their situation now?
I mean, I don't know
Okay.
day to day. It's affected. The staffing has been difficult for
Yes.
them. But it's what's been challenging, staples like cereal and other items that we could always depend on, that we could source from the Greater Boston Food Bank. We have gone through periods this year where we've had to go out and kind of clear the shelves at Stop and
Really?
Shop. And, it's kind of fun. You send a volunteer out, you're all, get a couple hundred boxes. And what's neat is when they're pulling these grocery carts full, and people are kind of looking at them, and
They're
they
having
got
a
all
really
these
big
cereal.
party, yeah.
But what's neat is when people say, what are you doing that for?
Yeah.
Oh, it's for the food pantry. Oh, let me help cover some of the
Okay.
cost of that.
Yeah.
It's really, it's the best. Quincy's great.
It's nice to hear. Certainly.
Yeah.
Do you have an energy assistance program at Interfaith too?
We do.
You do?
It's a stopgap. With the QCAP, they're fantastic. They do great work.
Yeah.
They have the federal funding for LIHEAP, for
Yes.
for fuel assistance, and so we tell everybody go there first. And then we can help out in emergencies. For instance, we had an undocumented family who, because of their immigration status, didn't qualify for that assistance, and we were able to step in and help them out.
Okay.
And, a couple other people in situations like that.
Okay. You have a library now at Interfaith.
It's not a lot. It's a free book
Oh,
program.
free books.
And they go to people's houses and they stay there.
Oh, okay. All right.
So what it is, we've always had books coming into our thrift shop.
Yeah.
And all of the children's books now, we have an amazing volunteer, Mary Ann. She sorts them all by age and puts them into bags. And then when we serve clients in the food pantry, we give those books to that family and they keep them.
Nice.
And the Thomas Crane Library, they're donating books on a regular basis, and those are all getting into the homes of Quincy and local families. So we're nourishing minds in addition to bodies.
So folks can bring books down to Interfaith?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We need books, 0 to 12.
Okay.
We're looking for those book donations, and in in just 4 or 5 months of last year, we distributed about 6,000 books.
Wow.
So we're definitely, there's an unending need for children's books now, and so we hope we're inundated.
All right.
We hope we have one of those happy problems where we have
Be careful what you
too
wish
many
for.
books.
Okay. Rick, great to see you. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Thanks for raising awareness about everything that's going on at Interfaith, and we love our volunteers. Any opportunity I have, I know our volunteers are watching,
Yeah.
so thank you to our volunteers and donors here in Quincy.
Well, we're happy to help in a small way too. So, and we'll catch up again real soon.
Absolutely.
Just enough time to check the weather for you for the rest of the day. Today, we'll have clearing skies and falling temperatures into the mid-30s and down to 20 degrees by tonight. That will bring the chance for snow showers tomorrow. It is February after all, with highs only in the upper 30s. Nice winter day on Sunday and warming up again for President's Day on Monday. Thanks again to Rick Doan for joining us from Interfaith Social Services. Thank you to our crew. Thank you for watching. By the way, speaking of Monday, we are off, so please join us next Friday here in the program. We'll learn about the Quincy Coastal Walking Trail. Don't forget, check out our website anytime, qatv.org. There's our latest programs there, news and information, video on demand, and a whole lot more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.